Okay, so America, I have a challenge for you. This video is about, once again, Miss Cynthia A. Johnson, representative out of Michigan. And I was just gonna leave this alone, but I came across a video where she was being interviewed on a black news network. And what I saw really disturbed me for two main reasons. There was a couple reasons in there, but two main reasons. There are two people in this video. One who is the media person named Roland Martin, and Miss Cynthia A. Johnson. He's interviewing her. And he starts out on his channel by saying that this Roland Martin show is unapologetically black. And they keep it real.
There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Okay, so with that in mind, first thing that comes to my mind when I say unapologetically black, when I hear that, is like me. I'm unapologetically black. I'm black. I don't apologize for being black. I'm proud to be black. I'm happy to be black. I don't feel like there's anything to apologize for. But they seem to take that as meaning something different. The way I perceive it, what I've gathered from it, it leads to a one-sided perspective. What you'll see here is his opening, and then it cuts to the clip of just a portion of what she says to kind of bring that back to the forefront of your mind. I chopped some things up here in order to make this video a lot shorter than it would have been. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to include the link to Mr. Martin's show in the description box so you can go back and watch it in its entirety. That way there's no mistake about what was actually said. And then you can come to your own conclusions about what you've seen.
Crazy, deranged, demented, sadistic, evil Republicans have been targeting officials in Michigan. Well, one legislator in Michigan had enough, and she posted this on Facebook.
Make them pay.
So here's the senator giving a little bit of background about, when she was stripped of her committee duties, positions, and she kind of sums it up like this.
In essence, they pretty much said I talk too much and I should apologize.
So here is Roland Martin asking the senator if she plans to apologize.
Are you?
Hell no.
And why you're not going to apologize?
I'm not going to apologize. I'm not a slave. Our people are not slaves. We belong. I'm not going to apologize because those words that I used, I meant them.
Okay, so a couple things stuck out here for me. One was when he asked her if she was going to apologize, and when she said what she said, you hear laughter. It's cute. This is about being cute. So she comes in and confirms what you already know. She meant exactly what she said. But it's interesting. I want to know if you noticed what I noticed. I already noticed it. But by the time we get to the end of this video, let me know in the comment section if you notice one thing that he failed to do, that he didn't do the entire time, and one thing that she failed to do the entire time. Let's continue.
Why are we still talking about this when the elections have already been certified?
Mm-hmm.
This is about Trump. He needs to be tried with treason. Yet we have to continue to go down this rabbit hole. This is crazy stuff. So, no, I will not apologize for anything that I have said.
If you notice, she shifted it. This interview was supposed to be about what she said, why she said it, her giving her own accounting of what she meant when she said that, what the message really was, how she felt about it, things of that nature. But notice she shifts it over to Trump. This is about Trump. No, the phone calls that you received, the threats that you received, all the attention in the media that you received was about what you said. What you said may have been, some of the things you said may have been about Trump and Trumpers, But this is about you. This is not about Trump. This is about you. So let's continue.
The Republican leadership, not one time did they call to say, what can we do to help you? You know, they haven't even put out a statement. The only statement that they put out to say that all of those attacks on me are wrong. All of those attacks on you are racist. They're wrong. They shouldn't do it. They shouldn't talk about putting crosses on your grass. But you shouldn't have said what you said. I had the audacity, a black woman, I had the audacity to question white men and white women. How dare you question us, Miss Cynthia A. Johnson? Who do you think you are? You're an uppity nigger. That's what I've been told.
Okay, so backtrack for a second. Earlier she mentioned that Trump needs to be tried for treason. I'd like to know what the charge is. But moving forward, again, it's shifted away from her and what she said over to now it's the Republican leadership, right, that stripped her of those positions. It's interesting to me how the focus is completely shifted to them. And the only thing that she can acknowledge, or the only thing that the conclusion she can come, is everything is based on race. There's nothing to do with professionalism. There's nothing to do with decorum. There's nothing to do with respect. There's nothing to do with proper representation. It's all about, in her mind, she's fixated on race. It's all about her race. So essentially what she's saying is that I can do anything that I want to do because I'm black and they should just take it. Almost as if she's got a pass. And this is, I've had conversations with people before, and we talk about white privilege. And I would say something like, did you know that there's black privilege too? If there is white privilege, if white privilege exists, then black privilege exists also. And they look at me confused. And I say, listen, if you would concede that privilege exists on the basis of race, then what you're saying is that since privilege can exist on the basis of race, that all races have a certain privilege, maybe different privileges, but a certain privilege. In this case, if you were to say that I believe in, it's strictly about race and white privilege, things of this nature, then you would have to concede the fact that in response to that, black people are given certain privileges as well. And they can say some things that other people wouldn't be able to get away with. That has to be the logic. If not, she wouldn't have came to the conclusion that she could talk like that in public, addressing the public as a professional politician, and be excused for that because of the color of her skin. Am I right or am I wrong? If I'm wrong, put it in the comment section. But if you do that, attach some type of logic, some type of reasoning to it so that I understand. Maybe it's an opportunity for me to be educated, but that's the conclusion that I come to. In any case, let's continue.
How about we just take a stance against domestic terrorism and domestic violence? Because this situation right here is very much like a domestic violence situation. How a woman, she says something and her husband or boyfriend doesn't like it. He choke her and then say, "You made me do it." Well, no, I'm not shutting up.
Now, this one I find this is fascinating to me because that argument, I don't condone domestic violence, right? I don't condone men beating up on women, but by the same token, I don't condone men beating up on other men based upon a verbal disagreement, right? Sometimes it comes to that. Sometimes there are other factors that kick in that elevates it to or escalates it to that level. But what I'm seeing here is this is a woman who wants to claim a traditional feminine um, privilege, I guess is a good way to say it. There's benefits to femininity, and one of those benefits is uh, not having men put their hands on you. You see, a man has to go through life with the understanding that there are some things that will get you knocked out. There are some things that will get hands put on you. That's just part of being a man. So as a man, you have to make a decision. You have to decide, is it worth it? Do I want to go there? Can I win this? Is there something else more at stake here other than my pride or the fact that I can just I might need to take the loss just to let someone know that I'm not the type of person that you want to go around putting your hands on. Right or wrong, it just is what it is. But see, women are excused from that because of their feminine energy, for lack of a better way to put it, their feminine energy. The problem is when a woman starts to present herself like a man, she starts to suffer manly repercussions, right? When you start acting like a man, you start getting treated like a man, and sometimes it's not a conscious thing. It's a reaction. Sometimes men they respond to that type of aggression with a certain other type of aggression. That doesn't make it right in the case of a man and a woman, but this is one of the reasons it takes place. So in that situation, in some cases I say, it's not right, but I understand. And when I say I understand, it's not saying that it's okay, but I understand why it went there. But if you look at this woman, look at her mannerisms, look at the way she talks, look at the way she moves. There's just this sheer aggression, masculine aggression there. And then at the end, she summed it up by saying, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to shut up. In an interaction between a man and a woman, since she brought up domestic violence, an intelligent woman, a smart woman, knows when it's time to be quiet. I'm not saying that in a chauvinistic way, but my logic behind that is if the woman is weaker in that situation, if she's physically weaker, she should probably follow the same guidelines that a physically weaker man would follow. It's not about male, female so much as it's about weak and strong. And strong people, in a physical sense, shouldn't go around trying to take advantage of someone just because they're physically weaker. But if that person who's physically weaker presents themselves as an even match, in other words, they step up to the plate, sometimes they have to roll with whatever's dealt that way. Once again, that doesn't make it right. But you can't come out acting like a man and be offended that you weren't treated like a woman. That just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of innuendo, a lot of details there. It's a deep conversation. It's a separate conversation. It needs to be had separately. Once again, I do not condone domestic violence, but there are some underlying, in certain situations, sometimes you just have a man that's a jerk or a powerful person that's a jerk. And sometimes you have somebody who just keeps asking for it. Again, that doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right. But in this situation, it was more about the power play. When you have somebody who's in authority, who's in charge, you have to respect it. You have to pick your battles. Sometimes it's a person in a political position that's a higher position that can remove you or strip you from a position. Sometimes it's the people. Sometimes it's the masses. Sometimes it's somebody out in public who you have no idea who they are. So you need to be careful about how you move through this world. And you don't ask for unnecessary problems. And above and beyond that, you're political, you're professional, you're in the public eye. And if anything, If you're trying to prove that you're an equal, and I'm going to tie it back the way she did as a black person, why not step your game up? Why not act in a way where people look at you and they're like, wow, I can respect that? Doesn't that make sense? If that doesn't make sense, tell me it doesn't make sense. But to me, that makes sense. So let's move on.
And if I hear one more black person tell me, well, you shouldn't have said that. You don't dictate to I don't have any control over how you think. My words may hurt you, or how if you are not sure about what the words are, why don't you ask me? But I didn't even find out until what? Two days ago, 2:00 in the morning. I didn't even find out why these people were losing their damn minds. I didn't realize that that video that I had done was cut up and edited and added that we were after white people. This is crazy stuff.
So now this goes a little bit deeper. Two things here. One, she didn't even realize it. She was oblivious to it. It's so in her nature that she didn't understand that why anybody should be offended. That's a different type of thing right there. That means she didn't even understand that. And then point two, when she talks about it being edited, this is the thing. As a politician in the public eye, you would think that you're aware of these types of things. And in truth, it wasn't edited in a way that she says that it was edited to make her look bad. I don't think that was the case. I think it would have been hard to avoid that. But going back to that point, you opened the door for that. Why would you open the door for that? She puts it all on people's interpretation, but never puts any weight to what she said. You gave the world that. You gave them that. If I made a sentence and I said what I'm going to do to somebody, and then I talk about other things, everything beyond that is a modifier. It's a modifier. It adds to or modifies what I said, but it doesn't take away what I said. You said that. And if you didn't say that, it wouldn't be on tape. You gave that. You're not a victim. Moving on. Let's move on.
But, who are we dealing with? We're dealing with the same people who's listening to a president who have had babies snatched away from their parents. Some children right now, I bet you, we don't even know where they are. We have a president who have literally abducted children from their parents.
Okay, so back to Trump again. You have a president who has literally abducted children from their parents. Now, she said that on tape. We went into that on the other video. That you've seen that. I'll link to that in the description as well. But I'm not even. You know what? I'm not even going to go into that. That's just so. Let's move it on.
Here's a man who will lie on 30,000 times a day, a minute, maybe.
Okay, so the grasping for the straw at the end. Okay, the exaggeration, the lies, 30,000 lies every day, a minute. But I would have included, me personally, I would have included at least one lie, maybe two. For the sake of time, I'd have been specific. I'd have given an example or something. But we're almost to the question. I want to see if you pick this apart. We're almost to the question here.
Well, look, we certainly appreciate you joining us. Keep giving them hell. Keep representing the constituents. Of course, and we'll keep doing what we're doing. That's being unapologetically black every single day.
If you notice, at the very end, he thanks her for coming on the show. And that's pretty much the end of the interview. But there's two things that didn't happen here. One on her part, one on his. On her part, she never accepted responsibility for anything. The entire situation was not her fault. She did nothing wrong. How do you grow? How do you improve? How do you become a better person when you can't say, okay, I could have done this better. Maybe I should have thought about that. Maybe I should have considered this. Never once did she acknowledge any wrongdoing. There's a saying where people say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. In that case, she could have said, I don't take back what I said. I stand by what I said. Maybe I could have said it a different way. That would have been acceptable. I think she would have got some respect for that. People would have been like, okay, all right, I feel that. But she acknowledged nothing. And then point two, here's the other part that I'm wondering if you picked up on. But Mr. Roland Martin, he's supposed to be a media man, right? He's supposed to be interviewing her. Never once did he ask her any type of, not even a hard question, a meeting. Never once did he dig in a little bit. Never once did he open up the conversation or try to gain a little bit more perspective. The link is in the description. The link is in the description. Check that out. Go to his channel and check out that video. Never once did he press her at all. It's a blanket condoning. Blanket across the board. Why? Because she's black. And he's unapologetically black. And that's what unapologetically black means to him. I'm going to support you thick or thin. Well, here's the deal. Here's the reality of the situation. If we're supposed to be pro-black, we're supposed to support black, we got to get past all of this language about I don't contradict you in public. I don't speak out against you in public. It's sad because going back to the improvement thing, iron sharpens iron. And in people terms, one of the ways that you get better, I feel like one of the ways I can get better as a man, as a black man, as an American, is to hear the opposing view. To have somebody press and say, well, what about this? That is what opens your mind up. That is how you grow. But you don't co-sign everything and condone everything. It's foolish, and it just sounds like pure ignorance to me. It's over and over again. It's just recycling, and that's part of the reason why she can't see where she either messed up or could have done better, because he wouldn't check her on that. He wouldn't call her on that, and that's pretty pathetic. She never accepted accountability, and never once did he hold her accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Take care. Peace.